everyone, I'm Claire and I'm going to teach a meditation class. This meditation class is one I teach on Saturdays at the Danville Peace 3 Yoga, and it is one of my very favorite classes to teach. So I hope you can follow along. I'm going to post some things in the comments when this video is over, and of course this video will be available on my page after the video is over. So the meditation is going to last about 15 minutes. I'm going to talk a little bit before, and then afterwards, if you have any questions, you can feel free to comment with your questions, what you have, any experiences. You can send me direct messages, and I'll be happy to go on from there. So I will have posted this image, and this image is a way to keep track about what we're doing today. So when I was first given this meditation by my guru, Jim Whiteford, who I'm sure you will see in the comments liking this video. Hi, Jim. The meditation itself was very difficult for me to follow along, and it took me about a month of doing this every single day before I could pay it, or before I remembered what to be doing without taking without having this shorthand in front of me. So I'll explain the shorthand momentarily. In the meantime, first I want to kind of show you what I've got set up here, and you can find something similar in your house or however you'd like. Normally I'd be doing this outside at this time of year, but it's a little wet. So rather than sitting underneath my willow tree, I'm just going to show you. So I have a light box, and so if you have a light box, I would highly recommend you do your daily meditation in front of your light box. It makes a big difference to getting some of that daylight that we're probably really missing right now. I'm trying to get my phone set up. Hopefully this will be all right. Okay, now I'm sitting on a meditation cushion. That's pretty fancy. If you don't have something like that, that's fine. You can also use blocks. You can use cushions from your couch. You can sit on a couple books with a blanket on top to soften it. But what I'm concerned about here is I want you to have a respectful seat. And what I mean by that is when I cross my legs, if my knees are up here, as I meditate, my back's going to start to round as I try to get out of that core work. So you want to make sure that your seat is high enough that when you're sitting, that your knees aren't higher than your hips. Because if your knees are higher than your hips, you're going to get uncomfortable during this, and then your whole meditation is going to be like trying to hold your body upright and trying to keep yourself in place, and that's not a very comfortable meditation. That makes it very difficult to do any of the things that we're doing with our mind or with our breath. So finding that comfortable seat is important. Make sure you're raising yourself up. We practice yoga to prepare us for meditation. Sitting down to sit and breathe and listen to our, for our higher selves requires open hips. Obviously if my knees are up here, my hips are too tight to be comfortably doing this. Requires a strong core because I have to be able to comfortably sit up so that I'm not having to worry about rounding into my back. And it requires open and strong shoulders so that I'm not slowly becoming this kind of posture while I'm sitting and trying to receive. So I want to have good posture. This is how yoga prepares us for this. This is why we do all that yoga, is to sit for meditation. So I've shown you the seat. I'm going to recommend that you get a blanket to pad underneath your feet. And the reason for that is your feet and ankles are going to probably get a little uncomfortable. Mine is electric, so I like to make sure that my belly is bare, because otherwise I'll start to sweat. And I like to keep my legs nice and warm with an electric blanket. So finding any comfortable seat is what's going to work for you. If you need to, you can stick a block underneath anything. Like if you need to readjust, so like, okay, I'm going to stick a block underneath my knee here to lift my knee to kind of alleviate some discomfort in my hip, that's fine. Make yourself comfortable. We want to be able to sit for this 15 minutes. All right, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to do a meditation called Hong Sa. So let me show you this, and we're just going to practice a couple of these breath cycles before we even get started. The first part of Hong Sa is 12 breaths, and we're going to count those 12 breaths on these 4 fingers because we have perfect pads for this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 12 pads on our 4 fingers. So if we move our thumb across each pad in time, by the time we get to the end, we know we've done 12 breaths, and we're not having to worry about, am I on number 9 or number 8? So that gets really difficult when we get into higher numbers of breaths. So 12 breaths, we count on 4 fingers. These breaths are to your count. So you see my little shorthand here. N means inhale, ha ha ha. X means exhale, ha ha ha. And H means hold. So this count is to your count. So the first 12 breaths are you inhaling, keep count of how long it takes you to inhale. You hold for that same length of time, and then you exhale for that same length of time. So if you inhale for 8, then you hold for 8, then you exhale for 8. If you inhale for 22, then you're holding for 22 and you're exhaling for 22. So you can see that you've got things to be counting while we're doing these first 12 breaths, and you don't need to be counting the breaths. You need to be just using the thumb to move that through. So let's try one of those breaths. So if you're sitting with me now, let's go ahead and just find your comfortable seat. Keeping count how long you inhale, hold it for the same length of time, and exhale for the same length of time. And it will look like this. Did you try one? How did it feel? All right, so that was our first 12 breaths. Then we move on to these 6 breaths. Now, it will not be weird that you have forgotten that we are meditating. You've totally lost count. You've totally lost everything. And you're going to hear me start these breaths and go, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be meditating. That's okay. It's totally normal. My first year of meditating was 2 minutes a day, and that 120 seconds was often punctuated with by looking at the clock. So it takes a while to get into this habit. So these 6 breaths are going to be an inhale, a hold for the count of 3, and exhale twice through the nose. So it's going to look like this. And, oh, I forgot to mention, the inhale, we're going to clench our fists, clench up our entire bodies, and screw up our face. So we're going to look a little crazy. Don't worry, nobody can see you, and I don't mind that you can see me. Here we go. We're going to try one right now. So you're going to hear that. You saw I clenched, I held for 3, and then through the nose. If you need to get a Kleenex, and I think I might need to, feel free to do that. Let me grab a Kleenex just real quick. And, all right, I'm back. Okay, so if you need a Kleenex for that part, have a Kleenex handy. It's not weird to get a little snotty when you're blowing out through your nose twice. And again, like I said, I know that it looks weird and it feels weird to be clenching up your body and holding it like that, but nobody can see you. The next one, that's 6 breaths. Like I said, you'll hear me do those 6 breaths. It will remind you that, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be meditating, and you'll do the 6 breaths too. The last one are 3 breaths, and those 3 breaths are an inhale, an exhale, and then a hold. So if you caught that, the inhale and the exhale happen, and then the hold happens at the bottom. So we're keeping count again. How long does it take me to inhale? Make the exhale match that same length of time. So like the first 12 breaths, the last 3 breaths are like this. Inhale, if I inhale for 12, I exhale for 12. But then the hold happens with no air in your lungs. So during those moments of between the exhale and the next inhale, your body might start to panic. For me, it's like a bird against the glass, like, no, you're trying to kill me. What are you doing? Tell the body, like, it's okay, body. I'm not trying to kill you. There's plenty of air in this room. We're just doing something. But let's go ahead and try one of those breaths and see how that makes your body feel. So keeping count over how long you inhale, and we're going to hold for the same length of time. Ready? So how did that feel? Did you have any panic moments having that situation? All right, so that's called pranayama, and it's breathing practice. Breathing practice is hard. You're gonna notice that you wanna quit, your body starts sweating. This is tough. You would be surprised how hard it is to not take shallow, passive breaths, barely as much as you need. So the last part of the meditation is going to be for about 10 minutes, because getting through that first portion, that's pranayama part, is going to be about 5 minutes of it. The last portion of it is the actual meditation itself, the mantra, inner mantra, inhaling the mantra hong and exhaling the mantra saw. Now for a lot of people, they can't attach the Sanskrit. And at the beginning, I was kind of like that because I wanted to know what the Sanskrit meant. And so it's like, well, you can use the English version, which is I am he. And I found that a little bit sexist. So I asked my guru, Jim, I said, what else can we do? And he said, well, what they mean by that is I am spirit. So if you can't attach the Sanskrit hong saw for inhaling hong and exhaling saw for the last portion of it, and you feel like I don't want I am he, just remember, I am spirit. So inhaling the I am and exhaling the spirit. You are a spiritual being first. You were a happy baby. You're a naturally good feeling person. And that is who you are. Everything that happens since then to make you kind of, your personality now is just on top of who you naturally are, which is the happy, good feeling baby that was born and said, I'm so cute. Look at my triple knees. Look at my dirty diaper. There's nothing wrong with me. You should love me the way I am. And that is how you are. So we're trying to get back to that naturally good feeling person that we were when we were born. So this is what we're going to do. So during the Hong Saw portion, the last 10 minutes, there will be twice that I will whisper. And I will whisper either deep in your breath to remind you to breathe deeper, because you will have probably started to breathe very shallowly just out of habit. And I will tell you to draw your gaze up to your third eye. So there's a temptation, you close the eyes and the gaze just goes straight forward. We want to bring the gaze up towards the third eye, because if you're going to see anything in your meditation, that's where you're going to see it. And I meditated for years, and even went to my guru for years, and I brought someone else to see him, and he was telling her, don't forget to look up during meditation. I'm like, Jim, why didn't you tell me that? Like, I've been wasting all my time. And he goes, oh, I thought you knew. So I'm telling you now, I will whisper that as one of the hints during the 10 minutes, just to A, remind you to do that, and B, to keep your mind focused on the meditation. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and begin, and here we go. So here we are. congratulate yourself for noticing if your breath has gotten shallow or passive, and then deepen it again. Draw your gaze upward toward the third eye, the space between the eyebrows. Inhale, draw your arms high overhead, letting the palms touch. Exhale them down to heart center, thanking yourself for meditating. So that was a 15-minute meditation, guys. How did you feel about that? So just to talk a little bit before I end this video, and you're free to drop off if you don't want to listen to me. I am facing east when I meditate during the day. When I meditate at night, I face north. And if you think of the human body kind of like a little compass, that we're just kind of, while we're sitting and trying to clear our minds, or at least give us a chance to clear our minds, even if it doesn't happen, the only bad meditation is the one that you didn't do. Even if you spend the entire time thinking about your grocery list or the fight you had with your kids, it's still meditation and it counts. So, but while we're meditating during the day, facing east, where the rising sun happens, or at night facing north with the North Star. What we're doing in meditation here is we're trying to clear our minds. We're trying to come to a place where we don't have any thought, but that often doesn't happen for us, and that's okay. Even if you just get a couple breaths or 1 or 2 minutes out of a 15-minute meditation where you're not having thought, or you feel like you're just drifting, that's fantastic. That's great news, and that means you got there. So it doesn't matter if it didn't happen the whole time or if it didn't happen at all this time. What matters is that you're starting the habit. So just think of this as like brushing your teeth. Like, you don't have to like brushing your teeth, you just have to do it. So I mean, this is the same situation. So you don't have to like meditation, but you would never go to bed without, flossing your teeth, getting the junk out. So this is just flossing your brain, flossing your mind, flossing your emotions, and getting the junk out. Meditation makes more time than it takes, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that in the comments. I'm going to post a couple little videos of things that I like to say to people after meditation. So if you're interested in those sort of things, those will be in the comments, and I'll probably post them again throughout the day or on my page. If you have any sensations in meditation, sometimes I'll feel like my arms are on the wrong side. It will literally feel like some Barbie arms. So we pop them out and put them on the wrong side, and I have to stop myself from opening my eyes and checking, are my arms on the right side of my body? They are, they're fine. Or I'll feel like I'm tilting, or otherwise having some kind of physical sensation in the body. I often find when stuff like that happens, if you find it uncomfortable, bringing yourself to a place where you're just thinking, I am willing, I am willing, I am willing, and trusting that, whatever is happening is bringing you to a higher state of consciousness and a better place. But just like if your emotional cork was floating in the bottom of the ocean, and we were to bring it right up to a higher level in the ocean, letting go of that cork, let it float back to where you naturally are, that happier place, coming up, if any scuba divers are out there, coming up can have some sensation with that. As we change different pressures, we can have sensation. So we can have sensation in our bodies as we change these emotional states, or as we change the level of consciousness we're experiencing. So if things like that are happening, feel free to ask me any questions. If I don't know the answer, I guarantee you my guru, Jim Whiteford, will. If he hasn't sent you a friend request, he probably will eventually, or you can friend request him, and he's happy to help. So I hope you enjoy that meditation. I start my meditation with this every day. I continue with a couple other meditations that I do, but this is always the first one that I start. So I hope that was helpful for you, and maybe we'll be doing some more of these together. Have a good day.